forgiveness is about knowing myself. It's about accepting myself. It's about being able to look at all the parts of me and be able to embrace and embody those. Be able to say yes to me, every single part, no matter what it was.
What if the best chapter of your life hasn't even begun yet? What lies within you is the power to live brighter, bolder, and truer than ever before. So welcome to Vivatude, where caregiving, connections, and career come into balance, and where your vitality, vision, and voice shines through. Because the revolution isn't out there, it's already within you. Welcome to Vivatude.
Welcome to Vivatude. I'm your host, Lauren Archer, and we are talking about matters of the heart and soul. And today our topic is forgiveness. Now, what do you think about when you think of forgiveness? I've often heard the old story of when we are holding onto a hot coal, expecting someone else to burn from it, we are only hurting ourselves. And in today's episode, we're going to dive deeper into the concept of forgiveness and the energetics, what it means for us, what it means for how we show up, and go a little bit deeper into levels of forgiveness and our own energy. My guest today is Brenda Reiss. She is a author, speaker, teacher. She's a podcast host. She has been elevating women's lives for years with this concept of forgiveness. So Brenda, thank you so much for joining us. And I would love to have you tell us just a little bit about, what when people hear the word forgiveness, what does that mean? How did you get into this work? And what do you want people to know about this concept?
Well, Lauren, it's always a pleasure to be in your presence. So thank you for that. And forgiveness is a hot topic. We'll say that, right? Speaking of the hot coals, it's like a hot potato for a lot of people. It carries a different significance and a different weight for people. And when I got into the forgiveness work, I didn't know that I needed forgiveness. So this is another thing that comes up for a lot of people is like, how do you even know you need forgiveness? So it's when you feel weighed down. It's when you feel disconnected from yourself, right? It's when you feel like whenever you see someone or hear a name or you're having thoughts or memories, it like weighs heavy I like the scientific definition of right? When you feel the
I love that.
Yeah, because sometimes it can be a gut punch. And so, I learned a different definition for forgiveness years ago. It's called to untie the knot.
Mm.
And as we know, like, you can feel the burning in your belly, right? You can feel the knots, and it's to untie the knot. And that's what I needed. And I didn't even know I needed it because it was after my third divorce, right? Where I was feeling shame, I was feeling guilt, I was feeling all the things like, who am I? Plus, that third divorce was really hard for me because I was so codependent. I had codependent tendencies, people pleasing. I really was disconnected from myself. And I thought he was my answer to everything. I
Mm.
didn't realize there was a pattern here. I didn't realize I had these beliefs that I needed a man to take care of me. I didn't know all of this until I kept having the same things happen and I would fall apart. And so finally, it was like, there's something wrong. My body started to break down, right? Because I'm holding anger, I'm holding different things within myself. The body does keep the score. And I was able to then kind of see, wait a minute, I'm the common denominator here. It's not about him or anybody else. And that's when I just started asking for help. I said to the universe, uh, hmm, my boss is just like my ex-husband and my other ex-husband and my other ex-husband. So now it's interfering in my work life. My friendships, it started happening, this certain pattern of dismissiveness and abandonment and rejection. And I went, I need help. And that's when it came.
I just have to acknowledge how courageous it was for you to get to that place where you recognized you being the common denominator. I mean, so many people dismiss themselves as, and blame everybody else as what's going wrong with their lives. Now, I'm not saying that you were wrong, and I want you to tell more about your story, but that willingness to say, there's something happening inside of me. And if I learn what that is, rise above it and make some changes, then maybe I can shift something in my life. So how did all that play out for you?
So this is great because what happened was I had gone through some pretty heavy duty experiences with that marriage. It doesn't happen to everyone, but I ended up with an FBI investigation because in my codependency I had signed some papers that turned out to be illegal, but I wanted to please the ex, right? So this was like a buildup. As we kind of know, the 2x4, like I say, gets bigger and bigger with our lessons.
The
And
two
so
by four meaning when the universe hits you over the
thank
head
you.
with a stick trying to get you to learn something.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I've heard it say it's like first it'll like knock and then it'll and then it's a whack upside the head and then it's a bucket of ice water or whatever if you
Yep.
don't heed the lessons. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So finally, it ended up being that. So I had to go through this 2-year investigation after I had gotten divorced. And so that really was a wake-up call for me to go, what got me here? Oh, I was depending upon someone else to make decisions for me. I want to backtrack a little bit here too, because I think this is important for women in midlife,
Mhm.
is because we can really be knocking it out of the park at work. We can be good at what we do, but it's in our personal relationships is where we find that we suffer or that we have these patterns or we have these things happening that seem to happen quite often. And what I started to notice during that period of time was, wait a minute, there's a similarity here.
Mm.
I keep giving my power away, I'm going to say it that way, in my personal relationship, but I'm not doing that at work.
Hmm.
I'm standing stronger. I can have my voice there, but what's the deal here? And that's when I went on my self-discovery journey. I decided that, you know what, to move forward, I need to figure this out. I'm the common denominator, so therefore, the only person I can really do anything about is me.
Mhm.
I was trying to fix him and it wasn't working, Lauren.
Really? No.
So, that's where my forgiveness journey started. And I didn't even know it was forgiveness because it was, to me, forgiveness is about knowing myself. It's about accepting myself. It's about being able to look at all the parts of me and be able to embrace and embody those. Be able to say yes to me, every single part, no matter what it was. And
Even
that's
the
what I
parts
started.
that even the parts that you don't like or that you're not proud of?
Absolutely, because I had quite a few of those parts.
I think
I had
too.
drank for a long time. I'm a recovering alcoholic, and I had made decisions with men that, I'm not so proud of, and just decisions and choices and manipulation that I had done throughout my life for survival.
Mm.
Right. And that's another thing. It's not really our fault, right? We learn these things and, out of survival. And so being able to go on this journey, that's the gift of this FBI investigation. I was looking at 7 to 10 years of prison. I
No.
didn't, yeah, I didn't know because my name, mine and this other wife's name was on the paperwork for them, and they knew it wasn't us, it was the husbands, but they were like going, yeah, but you're going down if they don't agree. And so it really there's nothing better than to have the FBI watching you than to really clean up your act.
Wow. Yeah, I know it takes, sometimes the whack upside the head, but this sounds like a big one.
It was a big one because it got me on this beautiful journey of self-discovery and personal development and really connecting to my higher self, my inner wisdom.
Mm.
Right? Because this was happening later in life, right? So I'm like, okay, I think I'm going to listen this time,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. Beautiful. And so the notion of forgiveness, I mean, in this case, I know we're not talking about just one thing. Can you give us a little bit of a clue on how the path wound its way to this principle? Because that sounds like it has woven itself through a lot of your work.
Yes. So the principle, so learning about forgiveness, I had the idea that forgiveness was about letting bygones be bygones, right? I grew up kind of in and out of churches and had these different definitions of someone else, not my own definition of forgiveness.
Okay.
And so it was like, okay, I have to turn the other cheek. I have to do all these things. But what I realized when I got introduced to the radical forgiveness, I call it technology, that's where I started looking at it from a different perspective. I started looking at it, maybe life is happening for me, not to me, because I had been in the victim kind of consciousness. It's like, oh my God, this is just my fate in life. But really, what happened was I got a different shift of perception or perspective when I looked at forgiveness as wait a minute, maybe forgiveness is a coming home to myself.
That is so beautiful. We are going to come back and go deeper into the concept of radical forgiveness after these quick messages. I am Lauren Archer here with Vivatude, and my guest today is Brenda Reiss.
And thanks for listening to Vivatude. 4 hosts, 1 each week. We help you revivitude your next chapter because purpose, passion, and prosperity isn't out there. They're already within you. Brighter, bolder, truer. Vivatude.